Hello, Clarice. Hello, and welcome to another video. My name is Heather, and as always, I'm reading with a vengeance, and as always, I hope you are as well. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you being here. If you are a new subscriber, very warm welcome to you. I'm glad you are all here, and I hope everybody is doing very, very well. How is everybody's reading doing? Well, I would love to talk to you about my current reading. I'm gonna save that for another video. This video is another Unhaul. Who am I? So I've done one previous Unhaul video, and I know I mentioned in that video that at the time I did that Unhaul, I knew that there were going to be more books that I could unhaul, but I was kind of easing into that whole Unhaul vibe, right? It's hard getting rid of books. It just is. I mentioned it in that previous video, and I'll just mention it again today. My husband and I will be selling our house soon. We will be moving within the next 6 months, and we will definitely be downsizing. Probably going to do some kind of vlog when all of that goes down. I'll figure that out when it happens. But we will be downsizing, and so there are a lot of books in my personal library that it pains me that I will have to part ways with, but it's just a practical thing to do. You know, some books are going to go into storage, but not all of them warrant storage to be read at another time for one reason or another. So yeah, I did go back through my shelves and did come up with another, I want to say 17 more books. I haven't been keeping count, but yeah, a lot more books that I'm letting go of. There have been a couple of videos that I've published recently where, I don't know, you may or may have not have noticed that there are new books or not seen before in previous videos, books on this particular shelf. It's not because I've done a haul, but because I've done an unhaul, I've moved around some of my books. I have a book trolley in my little craft room that is chock-a-block full of books, or at least was before I did this unhaul. But anyways, they have migrated out here to this shelf. So that's why you see some new books here. So let's get started talking about the books that will be leaving my house. The first one is Norse Mythology by Neal Gaiman. Neal Gaiman, I think. My husband read this one and he really enjoyed it. I think my husband likes Neal Gaiman's writing more than I do. I haven't read this one yet. I'm not sure if I will. It's such a beautiful edition too, and it's got that yummy smooth material. It's like a waxy material. It's really lovely, and it's got are these called French flaps, I think? I like that, and it's also got deckled edges. This is a really, really nice edition. I might try to sell this one on Pango Books. I'm not sure. Yeah, my husband isn't a spine breaker, bless his heart. But anyways, I read, what was it? The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was weird. So I'm not sure. I can't remember if I've read any of his other books, but I don't think I'll be reading this one in the near future. This one, if you don't know, let's see. Gaiman presents a bravura rendition of the Norse gods and their world from their origin through their upheaval in Ragnarok. He stays true to the myths in envisioning the... Where are my glasses? Stays true to the myths in envisioning the major Norse pantheon. Odin, the highest of the high, wise, daring, and cunning. Thor, Odin's son, incredibly strong, yet not the wisest of gods. And Loki, son of a giant, blood brother to Odin, and a trickster and unsurpassable manipulator. Gaiman fashions those primeval stories into a novelistic arc that begins with the genesis of the legendary 9 worlds and delves into the exploits of deities, dwarfs, and giants. Not really my thing, really. I want to like it. I don't see it happening. So we're saying goodbye to that. Danny, if you're watching this video, I'm really, really sorry. My girlfriend Danny sent me this book. It's called The Age of Light. I think she just sent it to me because she thought I would enjoy it, and because she's a dear friend and she's lovely and thoughtful and just wanted to send me a present, and I absolutely appreciate it. I just don't think I will be getting to this book. It just doesn't sound like it's up my street. It tells the story of Vogue model turned renowned photographer Lee Miller and her search to forge a new identity as an artist after a life spent as a muse. From the cabarets of Bohemian Paris to the battlefields of war-torn Europe during World War II, from discovering radical new photography techniques to documenting the liberation of the concentration camps as one of the first female war correspondents, Lee pursues her passions with a fierce independence. I mean, maybe someday, but I'm very, very specific right now because of the circumstances of needing to downsize in the very near future and then not wanting to get rid of all my books. I have very specific tastes of what I want to read in the next 6 months. And unfortunately, this one just doesn't make the cut, but maybe someday. I did add it to my TBR, so there's that. This next one is Make Me by Lee Child. This is a Jack Reacher book, and I think I got rid of 2 Jack Reacher books in my other Unhaul video, and I'm getting rid of this one for the same reason. I really love the Jack Reacher books. I've read the first 2 in the series, and there's like 20 plus in the series, and I want to say this one actually is number 20, and I want to read the series in order, and the other 2 that I got rid of I think were numbers 8 and 10, and so I know I'm not going to read 3 through 7 in the next 6 months. So I let them go. And of course, for the very same reason, I'm definitely not going to read the next 17 or so in the next 6 months. So I'm letting this one go. I'm pretty sure I got this in a secondhand store. And I picked it up because I'm like, well, I am reading the series. I will get to it eventually. But yeah, not soon enough. Next book is Deeply Odd by Dean Koontz. This is the Odd Thomas series, which I absolutely love. And again, this is kind of along the lines of the Jack Reacher. I've read the first 3 in the series and I really enjoy them. They're really good. And it's about this man, Odd, his name is Odd, and he can see and talk to dead people, and he solves crimes based on his relationships with dead people. And there's wit and humor, and there's creepiness, and there's mystery, and they're thrillers, and I really, really enjoy them. This, I want to say, this is not the 6th. I'm only on number 4. So I will eventually get to this one, just not soon enough. Looks like I got it at a secondhand store, and I will probably donate to another secondhand store. I will get to it eventually. Same thing with this one. This is Saint Odd by Dean Koontz, and this is, I think, number 7. So same reason that I got rid of the other one. Someday. This next one I'm on the fence about. I probably will be unhauling it, but it's hard for me. This is A Faint Cold Fear by Karin Slaughter. I love Karin Slaughter. She really can write a good thriller. This is the 3rd in one of her series. I believe it is, it's the Grant County series, and I've read the first one. It's not out of the realm of possibility that I could read the second one, which is called Kiss Cut, and then get to this one. But I really need to stay focused with this Unhaul project that I'm doing, just because it affects both my husband and my living situation, all that kind of thing. I'm mostly on the fence about keeping this one, but it's likely gonna go. I definitely will be reading this at some point. I love Karin Slaughter. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Grant County series, because she's got a couple of series that she has several books in each. It's set in the fictional town of Hartsdale, Georgia, in the fictional Grant County, and it takes place from the perspective of 3 main characters: Sarah Linton, the town's pediatrician and part-time coroner, her ex-husband, to whom she is remarried, Jeffrey Tolliver, who is the chief of police, and his subordinate, Detective Lena Adams. They solve multiple crimes. So they're really enjoyable. I really enjoyed Blindsided, which was the first in the series, and I will eventually get to Kiss Cut. It's just not at the top of my list right now. Wow, I'm getting rid of lots of series books. I see a trend in my unhauls. All right, these next 3 books are part of the same series. I have talked about this series. These are, chunkers to start. But this is the Inspector Lindley series by Elizabeth George. I have What Came Before He Shot Her, Believing the Lie, and A Place of Hiding. I've definitely talked about this series. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. In previous videos, I love this series, very much so. Most of the books in the series are chunkers, like minimum 600 pages for all of them. And I really, really enjoy them. I've read the first 9. I started reading them maybe 10 years ago, give or take. So it's taken me some time to get through them, and I will get through them eventually, but I'm not in any hurry. It's not a series where it ends on a cliffhanger or anything like that. Each book is a separate mystery. So I'm kind of taking my time. And these books in particular, I picked up at secondhand stores because I thought, oh, Elizabeth George, the Thomas Lindley series, I will definitely be reading this at some point. Do you see a trend in this Unhaul? Hiding is number 12, so I have 10 and 11 to get through before I get to this. And these, I want to say these are probably, I think there's 20 or 21 in the series total. Yeah, What Came Before He Shot Her is number 14. And then Believing the Lie, I want to say, is the most recent. Nope. Yeah, there are 21, and Believing the Lie is number 17. It's going to be a minute before I get to this one. So, and yeah, they take up way too much real estate. They got to go. Next book I'm unhauling is Winter of the World by Ken Follett. This is the second in a trilogy. I will read it someday, but I just read the first one. This is the Century trilogy. I read Fall of Giants last summer. I picked this one up because I had read Fall of Giants, and I liked Fall of Giants, but I didn't love it, so I don't feel too compelled to get to this one in the near future. And that is what we're talking about here in this Unhaul. If you're not going to be read in the near future, then you got to go. This one, I'm just going to hold off. And again, it's been around for a while. So when I do decide to get to it, I'll probably get it from the library. This next book is called Benefit of the Doubt by Neal Griffin. The whole reason I picked up this book is I used to work with Neal Griffin. He is a former police officer, as am I, and he is now an author. I will get to this. I want to read it mostly because, you know, I'm a friend of the author. It's got a fairly high rating on Goodreads. It looks like it's a first in a series. It's called The Newburgh Mysteries. Ben Sawyer was a big city cop until he nearly killed a helpless suspect in full view of dozens of cell phone cameras. The guy was scum, but Ben had gone too far. Ben and his family retreated to Newburgh, the tiny Wisconsin town where they'd grown up. Though he's now a police detective, Ben's been a pariah since his father-in-law, the former chief, had a stroke. He definitely knows what he's talking about as far as police procedurals. So eventually I'll get to it. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. Now you know why I had it. Because you were dying to know, right? So yeah, I did. Oh, you know what? I think I found this in a little free library. And I'm like, oh my God, I know that guy. So it'll probably go back. I might put it in my own little free library. This one I definitely picked up at a little free library. This is An Awakening Desire by Helen Bianchin. And this is a Harlequin romance. And oh my gosh, if you are over the age of 40, closer to my age than not, you will recognize these little fellas. My mom has probably read every single Harlequin romance there is. I remember this from my childhood. We would go to the store and she'd pick out one of these and I'd pick up a Nancy Drew, and just this is nostalgia. These covers are nostalgia for me. I read a few of them as I was growing up, and then of course I graduated to other stuff. But I saw this in a little free library a couple months ago, and I just got it just because I wanted to show my mom. I'm like, look, these are still in circulation somehow. And so she got a kick out of that. And this is 10 cents. So somebody got this at a secondhand store for 10 cents. Did she overpay? Oh my God, that's so snobby. It's less than 200 pages. I might just read it just for the sheer amusement of it before I unhaul it, but it is going. This next book I'm unhauling is called The Footprints of God by Gregg Iles. I love this author. My husband introduced me to this author. My husband's favorite book from this author is The Devil's Punch Bowl, which is, I think, a third in a series. Yeah, it's the third in the Pen Cage series, and I think I only have one or two left in that series that I haven't read. They're fantastic books. I highly recommend them. But that's how I was introduced to Gregg Iles, and so when I saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, I love the Pen Cage series so much. I'm going to read every single one of Gregg Iles. And I have read a few others that are not in that series, and they're really, really good. He really knows how to write a thriller. And they're typically crime thrillers, somewhat legal, somewhat police procedural, somewhat, but there's more. There's just more. This one, though, I picked up just because of the author, but I don't think it's going to be my cup of tea. In a secret government lab, America's top scientists work on Trinity, a supercomputer that could surpass the power of the human mind. The project's ethicist, David Tennant, works in a firestorm of limitless science and ruthless ambition. After a fellow scientist is murdered, David uncovers who the killer is. Desperate, he turns to Rachel Weisz, the actress, The psychiatrist probing the nightmares that have plagued him since joining the project, and both are forced to flee for their lives. Maybe someday, but not really along the lines of the other Gregg Iles books that I've really enjoyed. Yeah, I'll be letting this one go for now, but maybe in the future, because I am slowly making my way through his backlist and they're super enjoyable. I probably would like this one, but it's not making the cut. This next one is one of my husband's. This is Redemption by David Baldacci. This is part of a series, the Memory Man series. Did I read any of these? I don't think I have read any of these. My husband says they're really good. And he told me that he thought that I would like them, and I believe him. But and that's the reason I held on to this, maybe I will get to it. Not as compelled to get to it as soon as I need to. These stickers, I swear. Other than the sticker, it's a lovely edition of a hardcover. Little Free Library will be getting this one. And finally, the last 3 books that I'm unhauling are from the Orphan X series by Gregg Hurwitz. I read the first one because these are more my husband's books. And he thought that I would like the Orphan X series. And I did. I loved the first one. I read Orphan X. I really enjoyed it. I feel like did I give it 3 stars? Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. And I thought that I would get to the rest of the series, and maybe someday I will, but that's why I held on to these. My husband's read all of them. He won't reread them, and I won't be reading them in the near future. And I have Hellbent, Out of the Dark, and Into the Fire. And I think the second one is The Nowhere Man, which I don't even have, but I need to read that before I got to Hellbent, which is number 3. And Out of the Dark is number 4, and Into the Fire is number 5. So I have a ways to go before I get to these. So I'll be letting these go. And that is it. That is the Unhaul this time around. I imagine there will be some more Unhaul videos. Probably not to this magnitude in the near future, but who knows? I mean, the process of relocating and downsizing, and I mean, it is a process, and stuff happens, and you end up getting rid of stuff that you didn't think you would ever get rid of, and it's not easy. And thank you for joining me on this journey, because I need to talk about it. I need to work through it and process it. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Do you guys have any thoughts on these books? Am I making any mistakes getting rid of any of these books? Please let me know down in the doodly-doo, or if you just want to say hi. Of course, I always love engaging with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still watching at this point, please consider giving that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be much appreciated. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.